Hi, I'm Anne Barrett of Empowering Health, and this is part three, or balance three on myself. After having identified the statement and my limiting belief that money makes me feel sick. And I feel like this was the underlying statement to a lot of my struggles in my business. And so of course, it's a really important balance to do to shift my energy towards being able to move forward with ease and to have less struggles in life and make life easy. So if you haven't already, have a look at part one and part two. However, I, as always, as I do with my clients, just do an assessment of where we've come from before starting balance three. Now, I call them balances, as I've explained in video two, because in kinesiology, as I practice, amongst other things, we look at the body holistically. And as a way of looking at you holistically, we work with the triangle of health. And the triangle of health looks at mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and structural, biochemical. So the biochemicals, or the chemical reactions, the foods we put in our body. So it relates to nutrition, it relates to toxins and things we're exposed to, and all those types of things. And so we want our triangle, our stick self, to be balanced. And when life is out of balance, when we're not feeling optimal, then it's indicating that we must be off balance in some way. And so a kinesiology session is known as a balance in order to be able to balance you out holistically and balance out your triangle. And so let's just start reviewing where we came from, where I've come from across the past two sessions. So first session, I did a number of weeks ago. Then I muscle tested to find out how long I need between balances, and I needed a week to process. And then this last time I needed 2 weeks to process the changes before having my next balance. And so I started with money makes me feel sick, like literally having to talk about it with my partner and having to look at my spreadsheets for work, having to simply do reconciliation because I know that the money, the numbers have happened, so there shouldn't be any stress around it, but there was. And from there, I came, we need to write then a goal statement as though you've already achieved it. And first I thought, oh, I am abundant. I am an abundance of money. An abundance of money is health. And then the next statement that came up for me as I was writing, so I find writing is a great process of helping to find those underlying other statements for me. It just starts flowing more intuitively. The statement is, I am comfortable with my abundance of wealth. And so that's what I've been using as my goal statement, and will continue with that. When people come and see me, I find it's around 3 to 5 sessions per goal statement, and I'm still working with the same goal statement. And across both previous balances, the stomach element had the over energy, and stomach is in earth, and earth is that place of abundance. And my block has been there. This is also a sense of feeling contentment, feeling fulfilled, feeling satisfied, and our ability to be grounded. And yes, so of course I need all this, but my stuckness, my block is there, and my energy has been moving, but the under energies have been in kidney in the first balance and bladder in the second balance. And this is a controlling energetic relationship with Chinese theory. So Earth has been trying to control water, but water is the last phase in this cycle of life, where I like to start a new way of being, an abundant way of being, and I need to release anxieties, fears, dread, terror, panic, in order to be able to start my new way of being towards abundance again. So in the balances, just from memory, like a lot of that programming, particularly in the first part, I recognized as learned beliefs from my parents, having come out, being displaced persons and their horrific background. And yeah, you were afraid to be seen. So you were targeted if you were successful, if you smiled, if you had money, there was a risk of being killed. And so here, my parents have taught me to stay small and to be satisfied with what I have, because they've managed to make a life from my dad always tells a story about he came across with just a toothbrush and his suitcase. And then, of course, like he was given cigarettes, I think, as like rations. And then he used those cigarettes to trade for food and other things that he needed. So he never really had possessions as such. And my parents then valued everything that they had, like you had to hold on to things of quality and look after them so they lasted a long time. They're all good things, but also just, live in your means, live with what you have, and almost like you have to work hard to achieve, but then it's also not good to achieve because you risk your life. They're all the types of beliefs that were coming up. And yes, so today I'm choosing to continue so that I can work and be comfortable with my abundance of wealth. I won't go any further. Okay, so let's begin testing my mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, structural, biochemical. They're all good. Do I need to do any other pre-checks today? No, so no pre-checks. I'm just doing a quick version of myself. Then is there anything else I need to do before finding, let's say, my goal statement? So I am comfortable with my abundance of wealth, and that's still a stress. I'm just writing goal equals and unlock, which equals stress. So I'm working with the neurology. So just like a light switch stays on, or it switches off when the circuit is broken. And if it stays on, for me, means it's okay. When it's an unlock, it means not okay. So stress, not a stress, for my well-being, not for my well-being. Now let's find out where my over energy is today. So we've got, oh, hang on, I haven't found my overall emotion as well on the goal and the priority aspect from top of my memory. Mental, emotional, spiritual today. And then the overall emotion, central, governing, fire, earth, spleen, stomach, again, over energy and stomach. Unreliable, reliable, criticism, discontentment, contentment, disappointment, deprivation, hunger. Empty is the emotion today. Self to self, self to others, others to self, others to others, self to life circumstances. Okay, so a sense of emptiness without living with this sense of abundance. Okay, now over energy. We want fire, earth, metal, water, wood. Yeah. Gallbladder, liver. Interesting that, find the emotion and the energy shifts because it, the vibration in that moment. Anger. Oh, sorry, just one liver. Liver equals over energy. Made that mistake a couple of times now because when you're bringing an emotion online, it can create stress going and like shifts within your body, and that also affects your front brain activity and your ability to think clearly. Let's see where the under energy is. Fire, earth, metal, lung, large intestines. Okay, and the large intestines have the under energy today, and this is liver to. So normally this one would try and control this element, but this element is undermining this element. So it's a very strong energetic relationship. So, oh, okay. Yes, okay. So just thinking to myself, do I need to do any willingness statements? Are there any sabotage programs I need to work with or any stress statements I need to clear? And is it okay to start the balancing now? And the balance today is from the digital database, and they'll show in order of priority. Thank you. So electrical, emotional, person ecology we're starting with. Side 1, side 2, side 3. Let's open up the digital database. I studied ICPKP form of kinesiology, and I am not following the protocol directly right now because I'm doing this on myself, and I'm skipping things that I don't need to and asking my body, do I need to do those things or not? And yes, if anybody's watching this with a critical eye, I'm just doing this as a demonstration on working with myself and how I help to identify underlying things of what's going on for myself, and we'll go from there. So 4-5, I need to start with 6s, 6.5 A, B. 6.5 B is lifestyle and language. That's come up before. Lifestyle, language. So things I'm saying to myself. Language plays an important part. Like if you've ever studied NLP coaching and mindset coaching, and you would, of course, have an appreciation and understanding of how much language plays a big part in what it is that how we live our lives. And language also has a vibration around it. And because what we're vibrating at is what we attract more of into our lives. And that's why we also work with a goal statement that you haven't yet achieved, so that you can start shifting your vibration to move you forward. So we need to find the life energy at the moment. So life energy is like thymus energy. It relates to, that's something like, I call it our mojo, being able to move forward towards your goal. Life energy, my life energy, I've got that in circuit. Above 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, above 5, 6, 7. The life energy is only at 6%. Then finally involved phrase or word. Now, where am I going to find this from? Give me a second. Is it from my money list? I have a reference list of other statements. I'm just going to get that from my cabinet. Still here. Yeah. And is it from the book? Is it from this list? And let's find. I've just put random pieces of paper into a book. So we've got. Is it that sheet? Yeah. Okay. So this is one I've used in a workshop with hypnotherapy for wealth and abundance as references to help the people in the class find out what's going on for them. And now I'm using it for myself. So how many statements are there? So there's just one I need to identify. So in the first 5, 1, 2. Oh, interesting. Need to work with the statement, the money loves me. Now, if we look at money as energy and, what other areas maybe do I feel as though I'm not being loved, because everything, is a projection. It's a reflection of what other things that may be going on in your life or other beliefs that I might have. And yeah, so I'm working with the statement that money loves me, but energetically, it could be a sense that I don't feel loved by others or accepted by others. These are all stresses, muscle testing is indicating. And okay, so I'm going to put in now the positive, that money loves me. And that's an unlock. Okay. So then I need to find the emotion that's involved. And it's coming from the amygdala chart of emotions. So the amygdala is the first part of the brain that develops when we're in utero. Also, these are our primitive fight-flight response emotions as well, the ones that have been really deeply buried or really long held, or have held on to them through the generations. And then they're programmed within our psyche, so that these ones that we may react with our primitive mind. Disgust, fear, qualm, anxiety, concern, edginess, dread is the emotion. That's a very strong emotion, isn't it? Okay. So giving us no, am I dreading money loving me? And that's a yes. Because of the subconscious consequences if money did love me and money was attracted to me. So now if you think about that, instead of, have I maybe had some type of trauma in my own personal past? No. In my past lives? Yes. And in other dimensions? No. So, excuse me, my throat's coming up because it's like, you can hear it's starting to get really croaky. it's relevant. Things come online. This area is also a reflection of our nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, and what's happening for us on our physical health. And I have some type of dread around being loved. And so, what if someone I find that often things come up now if there was a consequence of your passing in a previous life. And so maybe somebody was attracted to me and loved me, or otherwise it could have been money. I was attracted to me in that past life, and I've died as a consequence of having wealth. If you think back to medieval times, people would be going through the forest with their coaches, and then they get hijacked. So, just as an example of things that happened in other eras. And, we just imagine, like, whether or not you believe in past lives and or not, we just imagine. And because it's all about healing in the now anyway, in present time. But today's balance, earlier on, we identified as spiritual. So I know in my dreams at nighttime, I often go off to other places and do a lot of work in that time as well. So yeah, I like to believe that that's another part of me that does other work and lives another life almost. Now referencing back, so find the emotion involved we have and show that this phrase now further decreases our life energy. Okay, so life energy, now that money loves me, put this back in circuit. Well, it was 6% previously. So where are we now? On the unlock, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So now I'm at 0% life energy. Okay, and then I need to FO hold. So frontal occipital hold. For creative change and an alternative phrase. Well, I've already got my positive, and show the new phrase does not decrease life energy. So I'm bringing this point also, it has multiple functions in kinesiology, depending on what I've put into circuit. At the moment, I'm holding all the information that I've gathered this morning into my hips. Hips are our largest circuit in context of our energy flow. So the energy flows like a DNA strand, and our joints are like circuit breakers. And so I can gather the data and the energy of that information I'm gathering into my hips as I go. I'm using a stand-up desk, allows me to move much more easily. And I burp when there's energy shifting as well. And so by rubbing these points, it helps bring blood flow to this neocortex, to our frontal lobe, to bring away the focus from the primitive mind, to connect with the front brain, to come back to logical thinking, being able to come up with creative solutions for all problems. These are all the metaphors that we use. Is there anything else I need to do? No, just this. And I can just feel my whole body calming down. And you can hear it in my voice, that croakiness is gone. And I'm probably speaking a little slower now, slightly deeper in my resonance. And if you can hear a cat, that's my cat, because it's still morning and he has another hour before he's allowed to go outside. We keep him inside until most of the birds have gone and done their work in our trees, and when it's safe for him to go out. Thank you. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'll say money loves me. Put this in circuit and find the life energy on this. So we were 0. So above 0, above 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So above 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So at 48%. So that's still not good enough. I need to keep moving forward with that. So does that mean I need to do another balance from the digital database? Okay. So where am I going now? Electrical, emotional, person ecology, structural, spiritual, self, structure, function, reactives, other from the digital list. Going to other modes. Page 1. Page 2, learn beliefs, lifesaver, more mode, organs, oxygen, parasites, polarized acupuncture, priority mode, right, left polarity. So that was 1, this is 2, but a continuation. So other equals right, left polarity. So we have energetic polarity. So just as a battery has a positive and a minus end, we too have that type of polarity. One side is positive, the other side negative. So it's like the masculine, the feminine. Left brain, the masculine is the positive. So right side of the body is the positive. And then the opposite is the feminine. So we have right, left, as well as then the opposite back to front. And in this context, we're working with the K27 points, which are underneath the clavicle between the ribs. However, I need to use thumbs, which are a neutral charge. So our fingers also have polarity. One's a positive, one's a negative. Two together becomes a neutral charge. And but the thumbs are also neutral. And because I'm working with energetic polarity, I'm needing to strengthen this connection. And it's like there's a deeper aspect to what it is I'm working on that I need to shift and release by creating a balance of this polarity within my being, because we are energy beings and an energy and vibration. And it's my vibration that has been stopping money from loving me. Coming back to our statement. And I need to find an emotion on this balance before I start. Also, it's amygdala. I'll put amygdala mode in circuit, top, bottom. Disgust, fear, anger, fury, wrath, hostility is the emotion. Or is it that my cat's feeling hostile towards me because I'm not letting him out? That's not the case. Thought of a bit of muscle test. So hostility, self-to-life circumstances. My parents, for example, would have been in a very hostile environment with the occupation of their country. And then, yeah, even moving about between countries. But then hostility can also relate to what's going on in the digestive system too. We can create a hostile environment, bringing it back to ourselves. And even when we're stressed, that can create a hostile energy within our being, and now needing to calm this down. So all I'm doing is rubbing these 2 points for myself. And then walking, we're calling it walking. So the arm that's underneath comes up above, and I just keep doing this now for a little while until I can feel another shift come through. And that's like a shift. And another one. I don't feel it's quite yet. There's something more. I can still feel the tenseness in my body. And I'm just going to say the statement: money loves me. 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 Is that enough now? Nice. Nice. Is there another balance to be done? Is it from the digital database? Nope. So where am I going next? From the CABS balance. Okay. So CABS is another kinesiology school. I learnt a lot of the spiritual kinesiology modes through. I'll just get the reference book. And CABS stands for kinesiology, kinesiology acupressure balancing system. And it's written by a guy named Stephen Hansen, who's based in Utah. And I did this course, through the NK Institute, which is in Queensland, I think, just on the border of New South Wales, not far from there anyway. And very good course, really loved it. And let's see. Put a line under that. Let's go to a new fresh page. He did say today's balance was spiritual. I was wondering when the spiritual mode was going to come up. Spiritual stress, no. Spiritual protocol, no. Spiritual individual. Okay. I'm going to go to the index list and scale through which one I need to do. Nature of consciousness. Super senses, using the eyes of the soul, page 25. The super senses is going to take us to a list of our psychic abilities in a sense. And this school identifies quite a few. Are they in? Yeah, nope, we start from 9 again. So there's 1 to 23 plus another 9. So besides our 5 physical senses, our energy also can sense, but at a higher level. What is sometimes called the 6th sense is really a plethora of senses in our soul and higher selves. These senses are as natural to our energy as our physical senses are to our body. We only have to clear the blocks to allow higher realities to be real to us. Okay, so we're going to focus on 32 of these higher senses. Then I'm just going to put the motor in circuit. And then I have to ask permission. Do I have permission to switch on the relevant senses today? I do. 32 senses. And how many do I need to switch on the last lock? So just 1 today. But before I do that, there's actually a whole protocol involved here. So I'm going to follow these steps. It's not simply just finding which one. First off, I need to stack our angel mode. Then find the priority point of kidney, governing 1, governing 15, governing 19, governing 20, governing 24, 7, 6, 5, 4, and stack the higher sense mode. So we go back to higher sense mode. Then test priority of pericadium or triple heater alarm point. So triple heater, triple warmer, also known as ICPKP, is the priority alarm, which I've done, and then do the spiritual machines protocol. So this activates the higher self within us. Okay, so let's find which spiritual machine I need. So these are like layers we have to work on before we can actually do the balance of activating the higher self. Spiritual machines, which one do I need to do? We've got Grand Karma shields, cords, implants, curse remover. Oh my God. Okay. Just spleen 11. It removes negative intentioned energies, and I can get a reference for you if you can still hear me. There we go. Spleen 11 is, this is the spleen meridian I just wanted to show you. So it starts down here on the toe, goes up the body. It runs on both sides of the body, not just one side. And spleen 11 is this point here. So not quite on the center line, just off the center line, but on the quads. So just quickly remove, and then I've got to then stack in the shielding point as well to help protect myself, so that whatever I'm removing, I'm also protected from. I was rubbing those points on my legs, and it's a bit tender. So when something's online, sometimes those points are actually tender. It feels like they're sort of bruised. And or otherwise a bit tight. And then you just work on them until the sensation eases or they soften. Okay, so let's put this back in. Yeah, this is the shielding point with the finger mode. Then let's go back to our balance steps. Then we test the senses mode. Sight, smell, taste. Comes in first via the pineal gland. Interesting. Okay, taste is really interesting. Like yesterday and today, I've had a strange taste in my mouth, almost like a metallic type taste, as though if I'd been taking too much iron, but I'm not taking iron supplements. And sometimes that means that there is a literal imbalance going on with the digestive system. Hostility came up earlier, so it could be. I know that I did eat things that weren't right for me on Friday, and because I went to a gathering and they had finger foods, and it's like, oh, I haven't eaten anything out of my guidelines for a while. Let's test and see what my digestive system is doing. And so I ate some soft cheese on crackers, and my digestive system has been out of whack since then. I didn't have many. And yeah, so that could also be creating this hostility, but everything comes up because my body knew, my subconscious mind knew that I'd be doing this balance today. And things start to reveal themselves already, like as you're coming. So even before you come to a balance, like if you've come for a few already, and then usually I find the week before, things start coming to the surface to be dealt with that haven't been dealt with yet. Yeah, so coming back to the sense of taste, is involved. Okay. So I've stacked the priority, and then I need to do the cortex procedure. The cortex comes from, and well, also from CABS, sorry, NK Institute. At NK Institute, when you study with them, you always have to do the brain formatting course first. So to work with the programming of the mind and the neurology. And so this is from there. This is a good example of how I piece things together, everything that I've studied. Thank you. Cortex position protocol is on page 10. So we're putting anatomy and gland and governing 24 all in together at once. Pause lock. And then, all the limbic, no, definitely cortex. So cortex is this part of the brain. And let's see. Sedation, tonification, neuroemotional, lymphatic back, front, the neurovascular, the spinal reflex points. So the spinal reflex points I need to do. Cortex, which is C1 and C2. So cervical spine. So I'm just rubbing the vertebral reflex points on the back of my neck. And the idea is, well, what I was taught is that when we're rubbing these points is that we're helping to bring blood flow to that area to help create space. And I was getting like slight headaches as well from Friday already and over the weekend, and a twinge in my left eye as though I was low in magnesium, but I know that I wasn't low in magnesium. And yeah, so that could have stemmed from the nerves here if there was any form of compression of the spine. Oh, thank you. So our nerve endings come out from the spine, and then if there's any compression or misalignments, then it can have an impact on the organs that vertebral reflex, where the nerves come out from, into that organ. Is there anything more I need to do from here? That one aside. I haven't found my super sentence yet. So we had the triple heater. So 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 5, 6, 7. Triple heater 7 relates to our higher clairaudience. So, and the note I've written is that the higher clairaudience, so clairaudience, so we know we have clairvoyance, that's seeing. Clairaudience is hearing. And the higher clairaudience helps us to hear our angels. Interesting, because when I've done all my NLP training, I learned that I'm more of a visual person and a kinesthetic person. So I remember things and learn things by seeing and doing and feeling. Whereas when in the past, pretty much all my life, it's like if people tell me something, I don't recall it because I don't take in information that way. So children, particularly, like I struggled at school with my learning because schooling in the time, like in a traditional way, is all about just was teaching and talking to it all. And it's like, well, I don't learn that way. I learn by seeing. So, you know, diagrams are always also great. And also by doing. And, you know, in the doing of like a child learning the alphabet, if a child is struggling to learn the alphabet, for example, because if they're a kinesthetic person, like a sensory person, then they actually need to, like one way around it, which we learned in NLP, is to actually teach them the alphabet by making all the letters out of Play-Doh. Because then they get to feel it and see it in a three-dimensional way. And then that's how they learn that information. And that's why I like attending courses, because it provides that experiential part of my learning that I need for myself. I could very well listen to audiobooks, but I don't take in that information. I read, I like pages because I have to feel the texture. And I also like to recall, like I remember visually where information was when I need to go back to it as well, like how far into the book, where on the page was that information, because I remember it visually, in the shapes of the words, visual things. And diagrams, of course, are awesome. But when people ask me to recall something, I actually have to see it first in my mind's eye. So often when I'm working with a client, I have to close my eyes so that I can see it first, see the information before I can then communicate it. And some people get frustrated because it takes a little while for that process to happen. And yes, anyway, so I'm going back to activating my higher clairaudience now that I've done all those other things. And I'll show you also the triple heater meridian, and they call it something else in this reference book that I have, which this is a great reference book for acupuncture points and meridians. And it there is a great kinesiology shop called the Kinesiology Shop, I think. And it's all online. They used to have a shop in Melbourne, but now they have to distribute on via post anyway to people like me who's in New South Wales. And yes, there's lots of great reference books that anyone can buy. You don't have to be a kinesiologist. There's just references to well-being tools and learnings that you can always read. And a lot of them are also available on Amazon as well. So I'm doing both my triple heater 7 points right now, and they really hurt. So maybe I'll be better at learning by hearing as well, from when I can hear the messages from my angels from above and listen to the guidance that they have, the guidance that will direct me to my abundance of wealth. So sort of piecing it all back together to my goal statement. All these techniques come back to the goal. And allowing money to love me, allowing my angels to love me. But with our angels as well, it's like we have to give them permission to support us. That's I read in probably Louise Hay's book, or someone's very similar to her, that when working with angels, we have to give them permission. And so we've always got two angels that are with us from the time that we're born, and others, your ancestors. Think about all those people that may have crossed over. Like they're there to help and support you quite often. And then there might be others as well. So allow them, like give them permission. Like literally, when you're lying in bed before you wake up, it's like, I give you permission. Like I hand over my problems to you. Help me resolve this now. And I give my angels permission to now start communicating with me. Talk to me so I can hear you. Give me that guidance I need to move forward with ease and abundance of wealth, so I can feel comfortable with my abundance of wealth, knowing I am safe to be abundant and wealthy. Letting everything settle in my body. And the next technique we have to do as part of this is grounding. If you haven't watched, there's a lovely documentary on YouTube called The Earthing Movie, a documentary. It's the image is two bare feet on grass. Highly recommend it, just so that you get an understanding and appreciation of the importance of grounding for overall health and well-being. Grounding and water are meant to be the two main things for health and well-being that a lot of people have stopped doing. So with a lot of these techniques that we do, it's important to ground, because I've been working on a heightened energy. You could hear it in my throat earlier, and now I'm needing to ground and center. And I've got a number of balancing techniques I can do. I can do visualization. I can do the K1 points. I can do yin. I can do yang. So from the CABS modality, there's CAB has yang points on my left leg, on my right leg. So right side of the body, if you remember, relates to left brain. So that's the masculine side of my body. And things coming up. And I'm just going to put my chair in front of me so I can put my leg up so I can get to the 2 points that I need to get to in order to help with this yang. See if I can find it quickly for you. Internal dragon. 4 dimensions. Probably going the wrong direction in this. Now I have you can see 1 point's on the knee, 1 point's on the toe. And now that I've said that, I may, oh, there we go. I'm doing yang points. So those two, so that you can see one on the knee and one on the second toe. And that's to help ground. And so it's a really strong, like the yang energy is the stronger energy of the two, like the yin versus the yang. I'm really needing to ground. And my explanation for grounding and the reason for it, if you think of our body as the tree trunk, and it's human nature and in psychology, we learn that we want to ascend and move towards the light by improving ourselves. And just as a tree needs to grow towards the light, sorry, I'm doing my meridian points, that's why I'm bending down. Just as a tree wants to grow towards the light, and in order to get that nourishment as well, it needs an extensive root system, deep and wide, in order to keep the trunk stable. And so that it can weather the storms in life. It can handle someone leaning against it. It can handle, people pushing against it. It can handle, anything. Think about all the things, all the storms that you've experienced in life. So when we're not grounded, the tree would fall over, for example, or it'd be swaying around and break. And we need to be grounded also in order to connect with Mother Earth and Gaia and her frequencies. We are susceptible, because it's another thing that when we're in September now in 2024, there's been lots of, we've had lots of solar flares, and also the Schumann's resonance hasn't been that stable. And we are affected by the energy's frequencies because, it's Earth's gravitational pull that keeps us attached to the ground. And so this can also be stirring up. So sometimes when you're feeling disharmony, do some research online to find out what's happening with the Schumann's resonance, or otherwise what's happening with the solar activity as well. Now, let's see if there's another balance for me to do towards my goal statement. Is there another balance to be done today? Yes, there is. Okay, where am I going to find it? Is it from a digital database? And that's a yes, indicated change. So I'm just changing what type of response I want now. That's why I say indicated change. That's what I'm looking for, is a response instead of yeses and nos. I'm looking for lock, unlock. So digital database, electrical, emotional, personal ecology. So PE, side 1. I get my digital database. Go to personal ecology. Got ones, 1.5, 1.5, A, B, C. Reverse adrenal stress. Wow. That's quite significant. I thought I was over my adrenal stress, but obviously money creates some form of adrenal stress within me. And it's like I've gone beyond, if you think about your energy levels in a beaker, it's like there's been so much stress that's overflowed, and that my body would be reacting to sweet things in the reverse to the way that it should. So that's one way of testing it. Let's just put the mode in circuit first. Normally, if I had a client on table, I'd be testing the sartorius muscles, which relate to the triple warmer meridian. And then I test white sugar versus an apple. So this is where the reverse aspect comes into play. If I tested, sorry, my cat's going a bit crazy, he's throwing himself against my leg. Yes, dear, you want to be seen as well? Come on, I'll show your face to everyone. This here is Tatum. He sometimes comes in and helps with balancing as well and holds his energy. with us. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. This is what I'm doing now. I'm just doing some work. I'm helping you'll have a better life as well once we achieve this goal. There you go. Yes, yeah. You can wait. You've still got another hour. Okay, so if I was to test sugar, my body would not react. If I was to test an apple, it would unlock and show that it doesn't agree with my body. Whereas I want the apple to agree with my body and the refined sugar not to agree with my body when muscle testing. And that means that my body is looking for quick fix solutions to help give me energy when I'm stressed. And this is why we sometimes, when we've got a lot of stress going on in our lives, we crave sugars and we don't know why. Like we try and do lots of mindset work, but if you've got reverse adrenal stress going on, your body's going to still be looking for those quick fix solutions, such as your wine, such as cakes and biscuits, such as your coffees, in order to give you that fake energy, because your adrenals don't have any more reserves left to give you that energy. But that's not the way to be. We don't want to be stuck in this state of stress, because that means your body is constantly stuck in this state of deficiency. And money is energy. I'm deficient in energy now. And let's see what we need to do. So the next list I'm looking at in context of reverse adrenal stress is a lifestyle change that's needed. Do I need to identify one of these? Yes. And how many of them? So just one indicator change. We've got A, B, C. Physical exercise and exertion I need to do. Do I need to do more of or less of? More of. Okay. Exercise helps to balance our hormones. It also helps us to calm. It's a way of getting rid of excess stress and energy as well. And I didn't do much all either. Like since Friday, like normally on the weekend, I'd go for a big bushwalk as well. And this week I haven't done anything because I've had other commitments, and I also went for a long drive to deliver something to a friend. And then she's not mobile at all, and or just minimal movement. So we just sat, but I needed to sit also on the weekend as a way of relaxing, but I didn't do enough physical movement that I would normally do as well. However, when I have full days with clients, I also find that I've always got so much admin to do that I don't even take the half hour to go for a walk around the block, which is what I really do need to do. And it has been in my mind, but I haven't been doing it. And now the balance is telling me, yes, you really do need to do this as a way to support my adrenals. So I could do it in between clients to try and squeeze it in. And especially if I've got an hour between clients, and otherwise I could do it straight after work maybe as well. So I do have other scheduled days, but this is telling me I need to do something a bit even more regularly. Okay. So next, it's not even telling me. It's referring to another page, and the page is not in the digital database. There's find which triple woman meridian nutrition on the next page. That's in there. And then test for trace mineral. Okay, so let's go for nutrition. Do I need any other triple woman nutrition that I don't already have in my supplement list? Is there something else I need to do in context of things I'm putting in my body? No. Is there anything else I need to identify other than the exercise? No. So exercise is enough. That's a yes. Okay. Oh, the emotion I haven't found. Very important. That's coming from the 5-element emotion chart. Central governing fire: earth, spleen, stomach; top, bottom, bitter, doubt, disgust, harmony. And then, harmony is almost like the opposite of hostility as an emotion that came up earlier. So is it my hormones are creating a hostile pattern? I am postmenopausal, have been for many years due to surgery. And yes, so maybe exercise, which helps also to regulate hormones, will help bring more harmony in whatever form that is into my body that I need in order to be able to achieve my goal of being comfortable with abundance of wealth. Self to self, self to others, others to self, others to others, self to life circumstances. Okay, is there another balance to be done? Yes. Okay, from the digital database, yes. Indicate change: electrical, emotional, person, ecology, structural, spiritual, self, structure, function, reactive, other, others, digital, list. Okay. Sometimes I'm checking if it's from ICPKP, or it's an alternative, like is it from one of the other disciplines that I've studied? Done. And we go to other modes. So this is what it's looking like. This is just my iPad I've got in a case. And when you learn from a particular school nowadays, rather than giving you all the folders and all the paper, which was what I got when I was studying, they now do it all digitally, which makes it so more mobile. You feel like you have your access to your information wherever you go, which is lovely. And it also takes up less room in your house. I live in a fire-prone area, and paperwork, it's like, I have other things that sometimes I need to take priority to put into my car to flee any risks, rather than folders and folders and folders of paper, even though I was doing that before the electronic versions came in. Okay, now I'm looking for other mode. This page, that can be your crystals, death, your spiritual glands, higher source input. Okay. So I use this as a finger mode, like so. And I'm just going to ask also, put that in circuit first. You ask me, do I need an energetic spray as well? And which one of the ones I use? Alchemy of Healing. So 111 to choose the oil, the spray, and let's get that. So Alchemy of Healing, it's a newish range of products. I don't think they're even all being bottled yet. They are very spiritual, and the numbers, like the first product is 111, this one's 222, the one after this is 444, and then there's, I think, another two after that, but they all relate to spiritual progression, and very powerful. And yeah, so you can just look up Alchemy of Healing, I think .com.au online to order these. I have met the creator of these, and these have been intuitively guided as to the ingredients and the intent behind them as well. And for me, this is about allowing now for higher source input. So my higher self connecting with her, but also to allow me to hear my angels once again as well. I'm just going to spray this 3 times around me. So front, above, and behind. Breathing that in and then placing this finger mode over my head. Mm. Mm. And they just smell amazing. I just love the smell. Um, okay, and they're really reasonably priced as well. Should you want, but just read all about it first on their website and choose. But it's great to have, the progression to be able to work with yourself, because it's a more gentler way. Like when you're working through the layers of an onion, you don't want to go straight to pulling the plug out from under all your problems, because that's when we can also go through like a healing crisis. And instead you want to be able to work gradually, just through as your body needs. But also it's great to work with a practitioner to give you that support that you need as you're going through this process. And kinesiology is a fantastic tool to help identify, or just self muscle testing is a great tool to ask your body what it needs in what order, because the onion, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're starting on the outer layers and going straight. It could be that, you start here and then you start here and then you start there. And just, you might be going all over the place as you're working towards the core. It all depends on, how many problems you've got going on in your life, how long these problems have been in your life. And yeah, every single balance is completely different for everyone, because we've all got different histories and we've all got different ways of thinking and different ways of responding. And so your body will also want what's unique for you to work through your healing. Okay. Plus 222. Okay. Is there another step to this balance today? Is it okay to start checking for changes? Lovely. So my body's saying, that's enough for today. So coming back to, let's put this away and move this, read while this is in my way. Oops, and then, now I've lost my goal statement. Have I accidentally put it in with something else? Nope, it's hiding underneath my affirmations. So many bits and pieces of paper. Okay, let's test the goal statement. Say, I am comfortable with my abundance of wealth. Awesome. And then today, and then I'll say this word spiritual and say the word empty. And then I replace that with I am full. I am abundantly wealthy. Nice. And then it was the large intestines, large intestines on either side of the navel, we're testing that alarm point, and that's now strong. So that's the one that had the under energy. Liver had the over energy, large intestines, and metal had the under energy. Metal is when things start to deteriorate and wind down. We've got the emotions of guilt, grief, regret, release. Also, when there's an under energy, we don't always have the ability to, well, those organs might not be working optimally, and then things start to reveal themselves. So for me, like both of these relate to detoxification as well. And I have been getting symptoms of dermatitis, for example. I don't know if you can see on this eye, there's some pinkness there. Never had dermatitis before in my life. And so since I've been doing this balance, though, I've been getting small amounts, and that could relate back to today's balance as well. And now lots of trust that this will now start to clear. And our skin is our biggest detoxification organ. And if you have a rash of some kind, it means that there's something going on the inside that's trying to get out. Now, all those are holding. That's holding. That's holding. Nice. And so I've forgotten now from the top of my head what the last willingness statement is, but I'm willing to accept all these changes today. Great. And is another follow-up balance needed to continue to work towards this goal? No. So this brings us to the end of my balancing for around money having made me feel sick in the past. Instead, now I am comfortable with my abundance of wealth. So let's see what comes of this. Today is also equinox, so great opportunity for new beginnings and a new way of being with ease. So if you haven't already addressed those issues, please wrap up any loose ties so that you can also start your new way of being. I'm Anne Barrett of Empowering Health. And if you'd like to work with me, you can book online at www.empoweringhealth.clinic/booking. Also, there's a lot of available free resources on YouTube that I create to help people, when in times of need. They're all safe practices. And so if you go to YouTube, if you're not there already, then just enter at Empowering Health, so the symbol at Empowering Health, to find my page, and go to the videos section where you'll see the full list of videos, not just what's on the homepage. And there's also a number of different products that you can, or services that you can purchase from my online store, which is also on the same website, www.empoweringhealth.clinic, and then /shop, or just go to the homepage and go to the menus at the top. And I can offer services of bioresonance therapy, for example, and which helps provide, generate frequencies to help support you emotionally. Okay, and I think that's it. All the best. Bye.